Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. And I am so excited for today's episode because happy Halloween, everyone. Um, so it's the last day of the month, and I cannot believe we are going into November, and it's just, I cannot believe how fast this year is going. Um, I am just over here looking at my reading journal, and I cannot believe how many books I actually have here to talk to you guys about. And yeah, it was a very productive reading month this month. Today's episode is going to be all about the wrapping up of October reads that I did for this month, talking about the upcoming month plans, because there's just so much going on with the holidays and everything. Let's get cozy and let's talk about these books. Let's just dive right into it. So in the month of October, it looks like I finished 17 books. 17 books that majority of them were completed either through audiobook or physical reads. Bulk of them definitely look like they were audiobook reads. so, um, like I've mentioned in my mini series, if you guys haven't checked that out yet, please take a look at that Try It or Trash It series. But um, I am just on a roll with audiobooks. And honestly, I've really gotten into the habit of if I'm not really in the mood to like listen to like background music or ambient music or some kind of like focus like playlist, I will crank on my audiobook. And honestly, I prefer that over anything because I don't have to worry about background noise for my ADHD if I turn on an audiobook. Um, and I'm still able to focus on the story that's being told even while I'm working. So, I really am glad I got myself in this habit because it has really been a game changer for my 2025 reading. Um, I'm not going to update yet, but I think honestly, I'm getting so close to like my overall milestone of reading of trying to read or consume stories of 100 plus or more within a single calendar year. And with Herkyed 2.0, with this change in like consuming audiobooks while I'm working, this just has been it's been a great reading year. I have to say, like I am just so happy with like my progress. And um yeah, I mean, let's get into the books that I did finish in October, though. So we have 17 books read. Um, I'm hoping these stats are correct, but I know that there's been issues with the stats page on hardcover. But it looks like, according to this, I consumed 2,713 pages in the month of October. I listened to about 78 hours worth of audiobooks, which I don't know if that is accurate because I'm looking at these books and I'm like, there's definitely some that were pretty lengthy. And then I have different authors for each of the books that I have consumed. I'm going to do in rapid fire the exact titles that I consumed in October, and then we'll kind of dive into what those ratings were and kind of go from there. So we have Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by Jack Thorne and J.K. Rowling, Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo, The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, The Sun and Her Flowers by Kupi Carr, A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney, The Call of the Wild by Jack London, A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck, Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nagin, Wonder by R.J. Palacio, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. We also have on the list here Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres, A Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nasser, Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, Black Woods, Blue Sky by Ewan Ivy, and then The Night Country by Melissa Albert. And I mean, I gotta say, it's been a fun reading month. Like, I really embrace the fall autumnal reads, and I feel like this was a great mix between autumnal reads and just like mood reading. So yeah, I mean, I want to talk about all of these here, but let's see here. So um I'm gonna load up something here really quick. Give me one. Okay. Yeah, I think I have a better view here. Okay. So, the first one, I'm just going to go down the list of what I gave a 5 stars in this next segment, what I gave a 4 stars, and so on and so forth. So, the first book that I gave a 5 star rating was Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I also have A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. I gave that a 5 stars. Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I gave that a 5 star review. Blackwoods Blue Sky by Ewan Ivy. I also gave that a 5 star. And then The Night Country by Melissa Albert. I gave that also a 5 star. Let's see. Let's go into our 4 stars. So 4 stars I gave to. We got The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Things We Lost to the Water was a 4 star. Wonder by R.J. Palaccio Arcio. I gave that a 4.5 star rating. And then I believe, just double check here for record's sake. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I also gave a 4 star for that. Um, oh, and of course, oh, maybe I didn't. I thought I gave Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres a 4 star, but actually that's coming up. Okay, so 3 star ratings. I have the following. Just trying to get back to that list. And if I didn't mention, I did give Harry Potter and the Cursed Child a 4 star rating as well. Probably a very unpopular opinion, but you know, that is going to get into that in a minute. So, all right. So 3 stars I gave The Call of the Wild by Jack London a 3 star. I gave Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres a 3 star. A Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nasser I gave 3 star. Um, and I think that's it for the 3 stars. And then 2 and below, I'm just gonna list them off. Um, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. The Sun and Her Flowers by Ruby Carr. A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I'm sorry if I pronounced that last name wrong. Mandana, I believe is his last name. And that's it. So I think that's every single one of them. But honestly, like the most notable ones, as I go down this list, I definitely loved Wonder by R.J. Palaccio. Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nijin. That one was absolutely great. I like almost bawled my eyes out at the end of that one. A Song Below Water. I am really, really glad that I gave that one a second chance. That one was really good. The fact that it mixed in Black Lives Matter with like kind of a siren mythical creature type situation. Um, I thought it was very clever. And honestly, I feel like going back, like reflecting on why I DNF'd that to begin with, um, it really was like me with my mood rating. I have to be in a certain mood to read like siren books, and I know I've mentioned that in a previous episode. Um, the Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is an absolutely incredible author. If you have never consumed any of her books, I think you should definitely pick some of her stuff up. I read Mexican Gothic by her along with this one, and I have to say, I really did love Mexican Gothic, but this one, The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, was really clever, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. Like, I just absolutely loved that book. Hellbent by Lee Bardugo. Um, what can I say about Lee Bardugo's like writing? It's absolutely stunning and incredible, and I was so excited and happy to be back in Alex Stern, Galaxy Stern's universe, if you will, and just super happy about that second installment, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. And then Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This one has been a long overdue situation where I really wish I would have consumed this like probably 4 years ago, but honestly, the timing was just perfect with what I was looking for, and honestly, I I could see how people are like giving it beef, but at the same time too, I personally enjoyed it because I focused more on the kids. Um which is pretty much what I did with the original series. And I know a lot of people like just stay heavily focused on like Draco and Harry and Ron and Hermione, and honestly, like I feel like the pivotal point with the series in general was like the trio, and like being able to see a new trio and how they like kind of adapt with like, their adventures through Hogwarts. That really like made me excited all over again. Um I'm glad I read it, and honestly, a lot of like the previous influences of like people telling me um you know, um, like people like mentioning on how awful it was, and it's just not Harry, and like I feel like a lot of people just solely focused on Harry's character, and it was, you know, different. Yeah, he was definitely emotional, and not how I pictured Harry, but it didn't allow me to fully, judge the entire thing. And I still enjoyed it. So that's why I ended up giving it a 4 star, even though a lot of people were like, this is pure garbage and I don't like this. So, The Sun and Her Flowers by Kubi Carr, I don't think her writing style and her pieces are just for me. I really feel like that's personally, you know, that's just my personal take because I have tried to read another one of her collections. I cannot think for the life of me what the title was. But I felt the same way. Like, I wanted to try and give it another go. But it just, for me, I feel like I'm just going to table her work altogether because it's just not for me. Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. um, this book. Um, I read Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, and I was like, I need more of Alice Feeney. But with this book, I was like, this is so dark and twisty, and I'm like, oh my lord. Like, I was just like constantly like, okay, like we're really neck deep into this dark, dark piece, and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, okay, like I was very intrigued by it. I would definitely say Beautiful Ugly is still one of my top favorites with Alice Feeney, but this one was definitely something I do recommend checking out. It's one of her older books. I think it was published in like 2017 or something like that, but it was definitely worth it. The Call of the Wild by Jack London. One of the classics that I've had on my shelf for God knows how long, and I'm actually really glad that I had picked this up because it kind of gives you like a kind of like scope or insight into like wilderness and like great north, like cold, brutal winters and how to survive. And I just thought it was very, very interesting. And I love the dog, of course, in this book. But yeah, just overall, I really enjoyed this one. It was a very short and too quick read. So I'm glad I do have this physically owned in my classics collection because I could totally see myself reading this with my kids and then reading this in the future as well. A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. Again, I don't know how this particular book got on my want to read list. It was a very interesting book, and I just, I really don't know how this one got on my list. I don't physically own this book. The only way that I could consume it was like ebook on Libby, and I had a really hard time like staying with it, even though it was a short book. I generally have a rough time trying to, um, read, uh, ebooks in general. So, so for me, like this one was definitely out there, and I'm glad that I gave it a try, but at the same time too, I would personally not recommend this book to anybody because it was just that bizarre. Like it was like interesting, I guess, in a way, like if you're like trying to look from different perspectives of how the afterlife is. Um, but I felt like there was just like so much like going on that it just it was funny in some parts, but I was just like, okay, this is just not what I'm in the mood for. So, um, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. It was okay, but I just felt like it was a lot of like, hey, I don't feel accepted, and maybe it was just the genre and like the content that was brought up during this, but I really appreciated like kind of the exploration of like feel like trying to find your place in the world and feeling like you need to be like being accepted into a world that doesn't accept like you being different. I thought that was really like tender, and I really thought the author did a great job with the writing style on that, but I personally just thought it was okay, and I it wasn't really like, something that really gripped me from start to finish. So, um, that's why I ultimately ended up only giving it a 2 star because there was like a lot of parts where it just dragged, and I was like, okay, is this over yet? So, and I hate saying that because like I have DNF'd this book in the past and I gave it a second chance, but I feel like now that I've read it and listened to it on audiobook and gotten through it, I feel like, yeah, I'm still glad that I read it, but at the same time, too, I'm just glad this is a one and done situation. So, Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. This one, I'm really glad that it was like a spin of a wheel situation with try it or trash it. Because I've had this one on my shelf for a while, and I have been trying to get through my book of the month picks, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed that this one was a one and done for me as well. I did appreciate like the fantasy element and the magic and all that. I thought it was very clever, and I really liked the characters, the sisters. Um, but I feel like honestly, it was like a meh read for me. It was okay, but it wasn't spectacular for me. And I mean, looking at the hardcover app, I could have sworn, yeah, this one had an average rating of 4 stars, which I'm really surprised. I really loved like the magic books and the magic system, but I don't know. Maybe it was just like my mood or whatever. I don't know. But I felt like honestly, fairly, I could give it a 3 star review and be confident with it. But I am going to be donating that one along with The Familiar, A Song Below Water, and Things We Lost to the Water to a free little library in Northeast Ohio. I feel like those books are better served for someone that can really enjoy those stories. Like I said, I'm glad that I consumed them, but at the same time too, I'm glad to like kind of part ways with those books. Um, A Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nasser. Again, that was like a quick of the draw when it comes to my Try It or Trash It series, and I gave that a 3 star. There were parts where I was just like, okay, this is all right. Like it kind of drags a little bit. But I mean, the audiobook like narrators were absolutely fantastic. I definitely recommend this one on audiobook. Um, I don't physically own this book, so I didn't have to worry about getting it off my shelf or anything, but I am still very glad that I could knock this off of my list. So, all right, and then Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So, this one was actually a new release, and I was able to knock off one off of my Herkiad 2.0 challenge. And I'm going to